Okay, here we go with another old buzzard video. I got real tired of the dust just boiling into that Maverick trail here the last time I had a ride. And I was with a guy with had a 570 Razor that had gone through his Razor and sealed it all up real well. And in comparing the two cabs after we got in the dust, it was real apparent that sealing the cab up was real important. So I thought I'd seal mine up today and take a few pictures and kind of show you where I thought most of the dust came in at. There's a couple of places maybe that a lot of people aren't aware of and don't think of, but I thought I'd take a minute and just show you what I've done today. So first let me show you what I've used. I know a lot of people are using the spray expanding foam, and I've used it before as an electrician, and we used to try and seal our conduit up with that expandable foam. And that stuff expands so much and can get so hard it was impossible to get our wire back out of the conduit when it came time to pull new wire in. So some of our equipment used to come with this expandable foam. I think that's called a closed cell expandable foam. Not expandable, but it's just a foam rubber. But I have had a sheet of that laying around for ages. Like I say, it used to be used for packing some of the controllers and whatnot that we would purchase. So I decided I'd take the scissors and cut some of that foam up to fit in various places. So one of the most obvious places to me anyway was left of the steering wheel. It seems to be open right from the front left wheel well. Let me even get down on my knees here. From the front left wheel well. So I've stuffed a bunch of foam up in here. I know in the winter, boy, that would just freeze my left knee like crazy. So that was one of the places, and that's pretty obvious. Another place that's not so obvious, but my wife noticed it a lot. Even though I have the door seals on it, I was getting a lot of dust, or she does on her side anyway. From this lower hinge, it was open into here. Now I'm not exactly sure if, excuse me, if I've done the door seals right, but I did cut this piece out here for the hinge because there was no way to glue anything on there. And then that would leave a gap at the corners if I didn't. So yeah, I do have the door seals on it, and that helped a bit for a number of reasons, but that didn't seal the whole thing up. The next place, hang on, I got to get repositioned. Next place that's pretty obvious is down inside the door. Let's get you a little reference here for where we're at. It's really poor lighting, but there's the battery. I've got one fire extinguisher there. I keep another fire extinguisher in the box. But down along the side here, of course, needed to be stuffed like crazy. That one was pretty obvious too. I just never could figure out how to tape that closed real well, so that's the way I did it with the foam there. Another place, of course, yeah, this is coming up kind of clumsy. Down here where the door catch is, a lot of air, dust, and cold comes in there. Now what's not so obvious is there's a huge gap between this rear panel right here and the panel right above it. And I don't really mean huge. It's only about a 1/4 inch of a gap, but it runs the entire length or the entire width of the cab. So I've gone ahead and sealed all that up. Behind one of the, is that a fuse box there? Can't tell, but don't have my glasses on. There's probably some relays and fuses in that, but I've sealed up behind it too. It was left open. And I guess that's all I did on this side. So we'll go over to the other side. Okay, we're on the passenger side now, and I don't see the big gap up underneath in front of the glove box like I do on the driver's side. It's different over here. But again, down here on the hinge, that's where the wife said a bunch of it was just boiling in. And when I talk about boiling dust, I mean this thing was just had a huge vertex of dust that would just sit and roll and roll. Uh, but again, oh, it's going to be hard to see, I know. Along the door latches down here below the seat belt, I've stuffed a bunch of foam in. There was a really big opening there. Down on both sides of the seat belt down here and down below there. So I've tried to find every hole I could find in the thing. I'm probably missing some and not going to be able to show them to you because there were so many. But another thing I found real interesting in looking at this, from the inside you can actually see the fuel tank vent and the little filter they use for that. And that hose comes out of the fuel tank up through the filter and then goes down again. So if you ever get a spurt of fuel up through that vent and down into wherever that hose goes, and I couldn't follow it all the way down, but there were so many holes here and it blows so much air into the area. It's no wonder that so many people smell gas fumes when it exhales a little bit through the vent or the breather. So that's just kind of a quick little tour of what I've done for dust control, and in the winter it'll help keep it a little warmer too. If I had a little more gumption today, I would use some of that same foam and I would put it down. I'd make a slit in the middle of it and I would rubber cement both sides to the shift gate there and let the shifter actually come up through the slit, and I think that would be a really good solution for sealing it up in there. Now I know I get a lot of heat up through that, but I don't recall ever seeing any dust come in it, and actually in the winter I kind of value that heat. So anyway, that was my project for today, along with lubing up the slides on the driver's seat. Man, they get so loaded up with dust and crud it wouldn't hardly slide anymore. But anyway, that was today's project. Hope that might give you some ideas how you might want to go about taking care of the dust and all the holes that are in the cab. I'm not saying this is a perfect solution. I haven't had it out yet, but I suspect it's going to make a pretty big difference. And that soft of closed cell foam, you know, you can stuff it into places and really hopeful that it seals up and stays in place. I'll have to keep an eye out on it, but it's going to be easy to stuff new foam back down in anyway. So yeah, that's all for the old buzzard today. I'm sure there's going to be something else come up. Always a project with these things. So I hope some of you found this useful. You guys take care, and hope to see some of you this summer. Bye-bye.